Okay, make sure you are making a note of it. And whenever you're writing something, please let me know. I'll stop the screen here, moving here and there. Make a note. All dots, comma, apostrophe, full stops, hyphen, everything is very important while you're writing. Right? The Selenium is more of this kind of writing. You have to make sure that you're writing properly, right? So rest all text anyway, you'll get it from Google, but just write the method name so that you can understand what is going on and what did you learn today. Okay. Right. So far we have completed a couple of automation classes and we are doing assignments successfully, and successfully are getting an exceptions that is expected. So do not worry about exception. Definitely all the exceptions that you are working on it, that will give you very confidence in working on automation in live projects or doing assignments. Okay, so what we have covered yesterday, quickly someone can roll it quickly. What we have covered yesterday at high level.
Inspect the
Description
code
of
and take the copy the
Okay, let Rajalakshmi say it,
Passing
then
elements to
I'll continue. I'll tell the other person to continue. Please listen what she's saying. You have to continue from there. I pick anyone who joined yesterday. Okay, Rajalakshmi, start.
for me application text box, how to inspect the code and copy the ID name or class
Okay,
name, anything. Based on that, we find element by dot ID. We are
okay.
using that code, pass the data.
Okay. All right. Good. 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 Archana, continue from what she said.
how to find out insight and four types of locators,
Very good.
ID, class, name, and tag name, and what
You have to
is
be more
HT,
specific. It is class name. This is not only class.
class name,
Class
and
name. Okay.
what is HTML code, like parent and
Okay. Very good.
child.
Kavita, continue from what Archana said.
Selenium supports only web pages and
Very good.
that which which writes in HTML code that web pages
Okay. Very good.
and
What
Selenium
else we covered
tag.
yesterday?
What we know,
What else? Yeah, that's good. Continue. Continue.
and we have Selenium locators of ID, name, class name, tag name, link test, and with the
Now,
inspect
can you tell the last word? Link. I did not get it.
link test
Okay, it is
text
not
text
test. Okay, it is text.
text text.
T-E-X-T. Text.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, text
All right.
text.
Okay. Siri, can you continue after that? What did we discuss yesterday? Anything that
Yeah, we discussed about
Rajalakshmi,
the
Archana,
find
and Kavita and
element
his. Mm-hmm.
and also by dot. I means how do we get actually the class name and ID by
Mm-hmm.
using the by dot ID, and also
Okay.
we have the keys like send keys.
Very good. Senkis. Okay. That Rajalakshmi and Archana did not tell. Kavita did not tell. Okay. Good. Next.
Uh, and also we have discussed about the anchor tag and H reference.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's nice. So people are following it. So same way, you should follow all the sessions and make sure that you are practicing it. Okay. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know once you look at the notepad.
yes, we know.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So now, right now the topic what we are discussing is locators. Correct. Now, to understand the locators as an automation tester, you should understand the DOM structure. Nobody has told the DOM structure. DOM structure is very important. We have discussed the DOM structure, correct? DOM structure is DOM. Did we discuss? Yes.
Yes, we know.
We know.
Right?
Yes, we know.
It's
Yes.
HTML
So,
code, right?
right. It is a HTML code, generally we call that as a DOM in our web automation or an automation or web development. Okay, so we have discussed also DOM structure, which is in a HTML code and also in the tree format, right? So all the DOM structure is nothing but your all HTML tags which are used by web developer to develop the HTML code. As simple as that. Okay, now we know how to automate with ID. There are few locators that we have discussed, right? Now, what are those that we discussed? What are those
ID,
that we discussed? ID,
class
ID,
name,
name, class
class
name,
name,
tag
link
name.
text.
Tag name.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we have discussed and we tried to do it. And what is the so whoever has started automation, right? You tell me by using ID, right? What is the success ratio of your script? Did you find any time element not identifying with the help of ID?
Oh, we know first
No,
preference we
no.
will give ID, right?
Okay. Yeah, even though you are preferring giving your first preference, was the script throwing an exception?
For ID, for Gmail yesterday I got.
ID, okay, okay. And others, though you are using ID, was it identifying the elements?
Yes, we know.
Okay, okay. See, I'll tell you first a few things, okay? One, it is not mandatory that somebody has to use ID, somebody has to use class name, somebody has to use tag name. So it is not that you decide based on the locators. You decide based on the HTML code which is displayed. Okay. Now let us go to some web page and you know the page which is open right now we have discussed, right? This is the form that we have yesterday automated. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes,
This is the
Vinod.
one we
Yes,
have
we know.
automated, right? How do
Yes.
we
Yes, we know.
spy the web elements or how do we inspect the web elements? I'll do a right click
Right.
and click on inspect.
Inspect.
Correct? Now see that it is highlighting. Now if I wanted to automate or if I wanted to get the this input text box, how this is developed, what kind of HTML tags are used, then what I do, I'll just go and click like this. Okay. Now it is highlighted, right? Now see it is highlighted, right? If I move the cursor, it is saying including first name. I am not bothered of this first name. I'm not interested in this first name. I'm interested about this input text box. Now see if I place my pointer on this, it is highlighting. Now this is my HTML code where I'm looking at it. Now based on this inputs, right? Based on this HTML code, you should be designing the locators. You understand, right? Don't don't first say you have ID, you have name, class name, whatever. Based on this, don't look at this. Now, based on this, now it has got ID, correct? This has got ID. Then I say, oh, okay, I can use ID locator here, right? If if there is no ID, example, if there is no ID, then I'll look for other options. There is a class. I have a class name. And importantly, you will see a locator name as class name, but your HTML code says class. Both are same. This is the class. This is an attribute. This is the value of the attribute. Both. Got it? Now, now sometimes what happens? Sometimes this ID may not be there, and it is not mandatory that a web developer should use ID. It all depends on a web developer who's developing the web page. Okay. Now, for effective automation scripting, we always look for a unique locator which can identify the element. please do not just like that pick up any locator and start doing it. Please make sure you're picking up the unique locator information. Okay. Now beginning, right? So when you are starting automation right now, it's okay to do it with ID and name. That's okay. But still in real time also people use this, correct? But to be more unique, make sure that your automation script doesn't fail, even though you run today or after 2 months, after 3 months, or after a year, right? People most of the time pick up these two locators, CSS and XPath. These two are very, you can say, very special locators, very important locators, which will help the automation tester to strongly hold the script by not throwing element not visible, no such element found, okay, element not located, any exception which is related to an element not found is handled through these two. Okay, but again, if it is uniquely identifying with this, definitely will go. But in real time, most of the time, we choose these two. And with respect to an automation interview, with respect to the automation interview, there will be lot of questions on these two. Please make sure you thoroughly understand what is CSS, what is XPath. Okay. The only difference between these locators and these two locators, these locators you can find an information in the DOM structure. If you have ID, you can use this locator and do it. If you have name in the DOM structure, you can use this locator. If you have class name, the class name here and the class in DOM structure, you can use this. Same with tag name, definitely tag name will be there. And you have a special feature to identify, right? Special feature to identify, and you know what the information it shows. So we'll discuss this part now, right? Even though this partial link text as well. Now these two, right? You will not find easily. CSS is not found easily. CSS needs to be prepared. You need to prepare the CSS locator. Okay. And XPath again is of two types. One is absolute XPath, another one is relative XPath. So we'll come to that. Don't worry. Just to highlight what is these locators are, then I'm just throwing a important information. Okay. Now, so when we know all these things. I think I'll just throw some light on this link text. So if I go to any see here, please look at the screen if you want. My mouse pointer is changing to hand symbol and I'm pointing out at form. What it means? The form is a hyperlink. For us, it is hyperlink, right? We know it is hyperlink. If I click on this, some action will happen, and definitely it goes to some page, whatever has been highlighted. Okay. Now, if I click this is happening. But how do you identify?
Right side bottom corner of the sound doesn't touch it. Stop.
Archana, go on mute.
Right side bottom corner.
Okay. Archana, can you go on mute? Okay. Okay. Now, whenever you wanted to automate a hyperlink, right? So you cannot directly start automating. So you need to look at few things to automate a link. How do you do it? obviously I want to inspect that element. I will inspect it. Right. Let me increase the right. See here, whenever you want to automate any link, if you want to use a link text allocator, you should always see there is a tag associated to that particular HTML code. Now A stands for anchor, and you should have an href, hyperlink reference, and an anchor tag. Whenever you see this, right, now this should be automated with the help of a link text. People ask in the interview, right, what is a link text locator, when you use it, and what is the procedure? And this is simple. So you should say that, whenever any link is developed with the help of anchor tag, and we should have a hyperlink reference, which is an attribute, and this is the value of the attribute, then we can use the link text locator. Now, how can we use it? It is pretty much simple. If I go to any, right, so here in place of ID, what I can do, I can select here link text. Okay, so here you need to pass the value, right? That's it. This is how you should be doing it. And of course, the operation, what should be the operation? Send keys, click or close. What is operation? Send keys, click or
click,
close.
click.
Click.
Why it is click?
It should done, right? If we want to
Come on,
open that
I
one,
asked you a very simple question. Why it is click?
yeah. If you want to open that URL, we
Because
can.
it should go on click it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It should go and click that form.
Yes.
It is a click operation only. Correct? Right? And no doubt in that, correct?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. We'll come back to this partial text in some time. Now let us understand. Now you know ID, how to use it. Now you know how to use name. Now you know how to use class name, how to use tag name, how to use link text. Okay. Now if I go to, right, if I go to any web page, right, I wanted to automate a particular text box. If I do an inspect, right, copy. So this is where you get the most of the powerful selectors. What you see here, XPath. There are other areas also. Okay. Now you need to, if you want to make a powerful scripting, if you want to be a very good automation tester, make sure whatever you're developing should work properly. The one of the important aspect is you need to prepare the locators on your own, especially CSS and XPath. Now I already told you CSS stands for cascading style sheets. Okay. Now that is more of a web developer's language, but what we use CSS as a one of the locator. Okay. Now I'll go to Notepad. Right now we are trying to understand. We are trying to understand whenever right you don't have, whenever your ID is failing, or whenever locators you are using name or class name or whatever, if those are failing, and you want your script not to fail, you want to run your script effectively without any exception, always prefer using CSS and XPath. These are all advanced topics, which is ID you pick from the HTML code, name you pick from HTML code, tag name you pick from HTML code, right? And the class name you pick from HTML code. You pick directly from there, but when it comes to CSS, you need to prepare the locator. Okay, you need to prepare the locator. Now, if you use class name directly, most of the time your script will fail. And generally, class name is used by other elements also in HTML. So there might be duplicates. So when there are more than one element identified with the class name, your script will be confused, right? Your script will confuse which locator, like which element you should go and perform the operation. Okay. Now, if I have a class name, right? If I have a class name, how should I prepare my CSS selector? Okay. Now you should use something like this: tag name dot class name. Okay. This is the syntax of CSS selector. If you want to prepare a CSS selector, if you have a class name, then you have to prepare like this: tag name dot class name. Okay. Now, if I go to any web page, now if they wanted to prepare for this, this is the I have input type is equal to text, class name is equal to this, right? What is the tag name here? Input, correct? Now, how will I prepare? Input is the tag name dot. What is the class name? Form control.
Form control.
This is how you have to prepare the locator for CSS selector with the help of a class name. And obviously, what we do, we pass this into a. Now, if I wanted to pass here, I'll pass it like C. This right. This is the selector, and I'll pass it just here. Simple. I'll copy and I'll paste it here.
Note once again you repeat this last line.
Sorry, which screen you're looking at? Eclipse or Notepad?
Notepad.
Okay, you can make a note. What is the doubt?
To go to web page and inspect that one.
Okay. See, if I go to the web page, right now, this is the code. I have input. Input is a tag name, attribute, attribute value, attribute, attribute value, attribute, attribute value, attribute, attribute value. Now, how will I prepare a CSS selector for this particular text box? What is the syntax? It says tag name dot class name. What is the tag name here? Input dot. What is the class name? Form control. Form control. This is your CSS selector. You'll copy and paste in the double quotes which you write in the Eclipse. Okay. Sometimes, even if you don't write input also, sometimes you go to input also, it will work unless if there are any duplicate on that particular DOM structure. You can directly write like this. If if there is more than one element identified, then it will fail. Ideally, this is the perfect one. Okay. Now, when we have a class name, you can do this. You can prepare a CSS selector like this. But what if there is no class name? I have only ID. Okay. What is the situation where if I have an ID but not the class name? How will I do it? It is very simple. Tag name, right? You have to put hash ID. Okay. If I wanted to write, I'll go to that web page. Right now there is ID here. So I assume that class is also there, ID is also there. No, we're just writing ID. So what is the tag name? Input. Input is the tag name. Then, sorry, hash symbol. What is the value of ID? Set. Okay. Just need to copy this one and I'll put it in the, yeah. Okay. Now there might be a situation where on the web page there is no ID, and what is that symbol? Okay, no ID and no class name. Okay, in that situation, right? You might see again, you should be very much familiar to look at the HTML code. In order to write all these things, you need to be, you may not be an HTML expert or HTML developer, right? You need to understand how to inspect the element. You need to understand what is this element HTML code, the color difference, which is an attribute, which is attribute value, what is the tag name. If you don't know all these things, you may not be able to write the CSS selector nor XPath. Okay. Now, most of the time in the real projects, in the web pages, you find class name, you find ID, but there might be a situation where you don't find ID and class name. How will you write a CSS selector? Now, the syntax would be tag name, open the bracket, square bracket, attribute value. The attribute is equal to this is how you're going to write when you don't have ID and class name. So how do you write it? How do you write it? How do you write it? Now, what is the tag name here for this text box? It is input. Now I'll write input. Very good. Now, these are all attributes. Type, class, ID, placeholder. Let's take placeholder. I'll write placeholder is equal to, I'll put apostrophe, single quote. What is the value? Is the value, and close the bracket. This is going to be an effective locator, which will never fail unless and until it is a timing issue or synchronization issue inside your script and the web pages. Otherwise, this should work fine. So this is how you're going to write with the help of a attribute. Attribute. Input is your tag name. Placeholder is your attribute. enter the last name is your value. This is how you're going to prepare a locator, which is CSS, when we don't have ID and class name. Any doubts so far, please?
No.
We can take any attribute, right, Vinod?
Anything, anything, anything. It is yours now. All web pages are whole world web pages are yours. You can write, you can play around. Okay,
Okay.
but you should understand the syntax first. Syntax is very, very important. You should butify. You should butify the syntax. Then you can play around. Not a problem. And now you know whenever your script is failing with the help of ID and all, ID name, right? Then you can use a powerful locator called as CSS selector, right? And don't tell me, that I'm using CSS selector, but it is failing. Okay, now understand first, there are a lot of dependencies. If your script should run right, there are a lot of dependencies. You should make sure everything is properly analyzed. You have to think the 365 degrees to make sure you say that it is not working. Then you should have done all your R&D in 365 degrees. Is internet working fine? Is your laptop working fine? Is your script has any errors? Is pom.xml working fine? Is Marvin updating correctly? Right? Or is there any the timing issue? Is there any dynamic element which is changing? Is there any change in the web application? There are lot many things you have to start developing that habit of what will be the issue. And another thing, right? If it's possible, whenever you're getting any issue and you found any help in Google and that help is working fine, it is good if you post that message in the WhatsApp group that, see, I am facing this problem, but I have rectified this. Or if you are more selfish, you can make a note, right? You can make a note in your notebook that this was the issue and this was the troubleshooting step that will help you when you go for an interview. People will ask, especially the manager level interviews, people who's taking level 3 interviews. They don't get into too much technical because technical 1, technical 2 might have already completed. They'll ask, what are the challenges that you come across while doing automation? How did you come across those challenges? What are the different kinds of exceptions that you can? This is all the level 3 kind of interview questions. Then you can tell all these points. Then you should say, oh, okay, you have good experience. They say, if you have these inputs ready, then definitely it will be a cakewalk in the interview. All right. Okay. Now, you know how to write CSS at this stage. You know how to write, and it is one of the powerful tool. And how are you make sure, right? Now, there are certain validations. What is validation? If you go to any website and if you inspect that, now this is the code. Obviously, the mouse pointer I placing on the HTML code, it is telling this is the one. Okay. But this is the HTML code, right? But what is the guarantee that whatever you have written a CSS selector, right? You're targeting the right element. And once you write the CSS selector, is only one element identified. Unless and until you run the script, you never knew, right? So unless you write the script, once the script is executed, based on the result, oh, now CSS selector is working fine. If it is failed, then you'll check timing issue. You check lot many issues, but ideally there might be another issue where that particular CSS selector what you prepared, there might be duplicates also inside that DOM structure, right? So you have to make sure as an automation tester whatever locator you prepared, I'm not talking about the one you're taking from the HTML. I'm talking about the one you prepare the locator with the help of CSS. Whatever you prepared is the only one element is identified. How are you making sure that, right? Now we have a different, there are two types. Okay, one, you can check in this way, make a note. This might, you can just say in the interview also, if someone is asking this. So we have a plugin, which is an add-on, right? Which is see here, once click on this, okay. So we have a plugin called Selectors Hub. All you need to go is go to the Selectors Hub, type it in Google. It will take you to this website. Once it is loaded, right? It is just like in a Selenium IDE, what we did. You need to just click on add to your Chrome as an extension, right? Once you do this, inside your add extension, you find the Selectors Hub. You can pin this where it is showing here, or if you remove this, it will not show here. It's up to you. How do you want to configure? Right now, this is the Selectors Hub. Now, what it does? Okay, what is the use of this? Now, whenever you prepare this CSS selector, right? What is your agenda? What is your target? That it should identify. There should be only one element with this locator. If it is having two elements, then your CSS locator is not correct one. Not correct, or that's not the right CSS selector that you have applied. Okay, so you have to make sure whatever is it syntactically correct. It is uniquely identifying on the DOM structure, and you don't have any issues with the locator that you create. Now, once you download, yeah, this is the one. See here, Selectors Hub, install this one. Once you click on this, so this is the generally used in the real time, but it has some kind of side effects. Sometimes it is uh, detecting, sometimes it is not, but most of the time it will help you guys. Okay. Now once it is downloaded, right? So it looks like this. Okay. Once it is downloaded, it looks like this. It's only one click. It will add to your the Chrome extension. Okay. And how will I open? So if I select this one, so automatically you can see it is opening on your right hand side. Okay. Now see here, inspect page. This inspect page. See, it is identifying everything. Okay. Now I click on the first name. So it displayed a few information here. That's fine. But what is our plan? Our plan is to make sure whatever we write as a CSS selector, it is identified as a unique. One element should be identified. Now this was the right. This was the code where it shows here, right? This one, correct? Input type is equal to text. So now how are we going to write this? Now we'll take any example from here. Let's type what we have here. Input type class. Okay, let's take this one. What would be the case? Input, right? Input dot. What is the class name? Form control. Form control. Right? It's already written. Okay. So let's copy this one. And while copying, okay, see here when I'm copying, it added extra space. Please make sure you are very much alert while copying it. Okay. The moment I copy here, see, you have to copy in this place and hit and enter. Okay. Now this is identifying, right? It is identifying. Ideally, it should show it is not working again. So once you hit enter, okay, it should show. Let me remove this. Copy again. It is not working. Let me do it with other one. Let's do it with ID. Input hash. Just copy it here. Here, copy it here and just try someone install it. And, okay. So it is sometimes it is highlighting, sometimes not highlighting. Okay, so this once you enter it here, right, it will show you that only one element identified here. This is one way of checking whether uh, your locator is properly working fine or not. Okay, let's do it for other last name. This is properly working and this is not properly working. To refresh the page once. It's working. See, all unnecessary time waste. Okay, now it should be input, right? Input, it is the class name dot form control. It is displaying. Yeah, now it says, see, four elements matching. See here, 4 elements matching. Okay, it means that your locator is identifying 4 elements. So this is how it will help you to identify. Now let's use the ID. So how to use the ID? Input hash. So hash name. See here. Can you see here now? One element identified. Everyone can see, right?
Yes, Vinod.
Okay. So you should be little more patience. This will help you to. Now you're writing 5-10 lines of scripting. That's fine. What if you are executing 15 minutes of lengthy script and you don't want to take chances that every time it fails, an email will trigger. That email will go to your manager or to your right. That is again questionable. So in order to avoid such things, what we do, we make sure that all the locators are properly working. Now this is how you have to check whether your locator is correctly identifying that. Now there's only one element identified. This is one way of checking your locator is working. And now let's say this is not working fine. So what we can do is we also have one more option. There is an option called console here on the screen. Can you see? There's a console here.
Yes.
Just what you do, just
Yes, Vinod.
type where is the dollar symbol? Yeah, type dollar symbol here. Open and close bracket. Inside that, put single quote, like single apostrophe, and copy. Always CSS should be in this format. Copy this and hit enter. See here, it has identified one element, right? This is one element. Otherwise, it will identify like this. If there are more than 2 or 3, it will identify there are 2 or 3 elements. Okay, got it right? You need to practice. One, you can install the selectors hub. Try it out. If it is working fine, element. This is one way of doing it. And ideally it should show. It should show if I go to element, right? It should show here only. Yeah, it is showing. You can see here. Selectors hub. No need of going to this add-on. You can directly click here. It will open for you. Now, if I copy this one and hit enter, it is showing here itself. See, it is highlighting here. Okay. Now if I do it form control, so I think with this there are other elements also. See, there are 4 elements. And if I go and do it the same thing, copy this one, paste it here, and input dot constant exact context. Copy this and paste it here. Now run this one. See, it is identified 1, 2. There are 1, 2, 3 here. There is one more on top. Okay, so these one elements it has identified. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is 3. In element. Okay, set here it says 4 elements here. Who's down now? Okay, so this is how you validate. This is how you validate whether your CSS selector is properly identified. Oh, it is it's form control. I think it's inside it. Okay. Okay, length 4. See here, it is identified here. Okay, so inside that the form control, there are this many things. This is there are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it is showing correct only now. It is 4 elements identified. Okay, so this is how you're going to uh, write the CSS, right? You write the CSS and write the CSS, and you can validate how it is working fine now with the help of selectors hub as well as the console, which is there on the developers tool. Any doubts? Did you make a note or someone missed out something?
In console, we need to give single quote, right?
That's single quote, yes.
Okay.
Let me copy this one. Okay, it is now we can make a note here like this. Okay, always it should be in single quote. Only the CSS part. Okay. Now see why are we using this selector? See here, if we will remove the dot and hit enter, right? So it says 0 element found, right? And now you remove and hit enter. See, it will not waste your script time. It is automatically will tell you what is an issue and why it is throwing, whether it is the correct one, whatever you're writing, whether the valid syntax, right? Whether it is showing valid one element on the DOM structure, whether it has a multiple DOM structures. Okay. Any doubts in this?
No.
Any
No,
doubts on
Vinod.
CSS? Okay. Now let's talk about XPath. Okay. Now, as I said, right, CSS and XPath are very powerful locators, and 99% people prefer to use XPath because it is strongly identifies element. People have gut feeling that CSS and XPath, but CSS people should know how to write it, because even one dot is missing, then that locator will not work. And people having very less knowledge in writing CSS, they don't prefer to use CSS. When it comes to CS like XPath, XPath again, generally we call that as a relative XPath and absolute XPath. Okay, there are two types, relative and absolute XPath. Absolute XPath can be taken from the DOM structure, right? And relative XPath generally prepared by the automation testers. Sometimes an absolute XPath can be prepared, but it is too much of hectic task. Who is this Niharika? Okay, and people generally go with preparing a relative XPath. See, one of the biggest advantages, people believe that quick reminder of my program, whatever, whenever you are available. So people believe and they have strong feeling that by using XPath, element identification is perfectly happens. But the more you use XPath, your script performance will be affected. This is going to be a interview question. Okay. Now, how it is affected? Why not CSS selector? Why not XPath? Sorry, why only XPath? See, this can be this comes with an experience. Like if somebody is already working on automation, they can feel that difference. Okay. Now, how the execution happens? If you look at the screen, where is the screen? Okay, right. This is the DOM structure, right? This is the DOM structure of this web page. Now, this is very small web page. There's nothing in it. Right? It's only a text box, last name, radio button, checkbox for your practice purpose. Okay, for your practice purpose. This will not be the case when it comes to a Amazon page. It's not going to be the same as a Google page. It's going to be a huge code because they all have all modern web elements prepared with by web developers. Now, how the element identification happens, right? The moment you write any locator, right, it will start from top, parent element. It will search if there is any parent. Inside, it will enter into the node, child. Again, inside that there is a sibling. Again, inside that there's one more sibling. Right? Now, this is where your element is. So this is how the identification happens on the DOM structure. So it always how happens from top to bottom, and it will go by a sequence. Right? Okay. Having said that, right? Now, having said that, now relative and absolute. Now, what do you mean by absolute path and how will I get it? Now, let's identify this one. Okay. If I right click on this, on any element that you wanted to get the X path, I'll copy this. Now there are copy full X path, copy X path. Now, if I copy X path, okay. Now, this is I'm getting. Okay. Same thing if I go and copy, see this giving same. Okay, I'll copy this one. Should give the relative. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. Now if you find something like this, HTML body div form div4. If this isn't the format, if you find any locator like you are getting this kind of it, then this is an absolute XPath. But when you see something like this is going to be a relative XPath. Most of the time, this is not. You might be thinking, array, it is just copying, right click and doing a copy, and it will give you the XPath. No, most of the cases it will be very dirty XPath, where it is not be a proper XPath, or real Google pages. It will be a different one. So it will not be that simple, and it's not be that easy one. Your script looks very. So if I go copy and this one copy XPath, so it is also giving very simple one. And if I go and copy full XPath, see here, it's much long. Imagine if I go and copy and in the scripting example, I found to copy it here, it will see how much length it is going to become. And sometimes we left with no option using that kind of XPaths. Okay. And it will not be very small XPaths. This will be a combination of, most of the time it gives like combination of like this. The XPaths combinations will be like this. So it is, we never knew how the XPath will be generated. Okay, that's why people uh, prefer to write their own XPaths. Okay. Now, because see, we discussed why there will be an impact of performance. The moment you give this kind of XPaths, right? What happens? It will first come to this HTML, then it has to go and search in the body, then it has to go and search in here. Like this, the sequence happens. It will go and search like this. Too many checkings is happening, right? But here, if you look at the CSS selector example, you give very simple one, tag name, right? Tag name /ID. And if you check in selectors hub or in console, you know how many elements are identified. Very simple. It looks very simple. Your script will look very decent. Your script will look very tidy, neat, and clean. And if any issue also comes up, you can also easily troubleshoot. By this kind of experts, what happens? See, when we don't have an option, if it is only working with this, sometimes it happens in your life also. You don't have any control. It will not work on any ID, it will not work on any CSS, but it will only work on, okay, it will only work on this absolute XPath. Or sometimes nothing will work, only ID will only work. Okay, so you have to take it as it when comes. Okay, no, ID. Vinod sir told to use XPath only. I will use XPath. No, right? So depends on the situation. You have to adjust yourself and start writing the scripting. Okay, now we understand what is the difference between CSS and XPath, what types we have. Okay, now how do you write XPath? Okay, now how do we write an XPath? Now the only difference between, there is a small difference, but how do you write? Now let's say there is a placeholder value of this, and we have an input tag. Now how do we write it? How do we write it? /, you write input tag here, open the bracket, you write @ symbol. You copy this, you paste it here, remaining all same. Remaining all same. But only thing is you have a / and an @ symbol. / is 2 and @ symbol we use. XPath. Now this is absolute XPath or relative XPath that we prepared. Relative XPath, not an
Relative.
absolute. Right?
Relative.
Relative.
Yeah. So always go to this web page. Try to check what it is giving you as an XPath. If it is giving a decent one, a neat and clean one, use it. Try to run multiple times. This is very shortest XPath. Use this one. Right? If it other locators are not working, when I say other locators, ID, right? Name, class name, right? Link text. So why we will not be using link text on other areas. So whenever you wanted to click on any link, we prefer link text. And you can always see I want to use XPath for link text to click on link also. It's up to you. See, I don't mind you using it, but you know what is meant, those locators, you should use that particular thing. Okay. Any doubts in so far whatever we have discussed? I'll wait for 1-2 minutes. Check your notes. If you have not written anything, if you want something to be re-explained, because we'll be moving on to the next topics.
How you are copying that link, XPath, the last one, relative XPath,
Sorry, what is that? How are we?
copying that link, XPath, relative XPath,
If
last
you
one.
let's say you wanted to enter the value, inspect this element. This is your HTML code. Do a right
Okay.
click, copy. These two are your XPath and full XPath.
Okay, okay.
Is this giving CSS selector? Okay. No. Any further doubts? I'll wait for 2 minutes.
Vinod, in selected 3 lines, text in these 3 lines, input is text area and attribute is class.
No, input is see text here is a tag name.
Sorry, tag name and a class is attribute. GLFYF is attribute value.
Right. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
You became an automation tester, Rachana. You can start doing it. You got understanding.
No,
Everyone should clap
Vinod,
and she
I
got
have
the.
lot of questions.
That's fine. You have answered one or two. You got attribute and attribute values. Everybody should appreciate. People are not asking questions. Now they might have clarified. Okay, Archana asked a very good question. I was thinking in my mind, she asked it.
Claps come on.
See, Kavita's doubt got cleared now. That's why she's saying clap.
You only said no clap for Archana. That's it.
No,
Okay, we have only one tag
Kavita's
name, right?
doubt is
Sorry,
no,
who was that?
Kavita's
Archana,
what Kavita?
Sorry.
you are saying something?
Hey, all your chit chats, you can do it after that, after the session. Okay, you can call Kavita's number. You can talk.
Okay. Actually,
It's not
why
a long
Kavita claps on my question is why Archana is not asking any question. That's why she clapped.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Right. So one last, right? What is left out? Partial link text, correct? Okay. Now we know how the let's copy it. Okay. Is it a image? Which was the anchor tag it was showing? Okay. Let's take correct. This is the one, correct. Okay, you can see here we want to copy the complete that particular line. You can copy the outer HTML, okay, to get the particular line into your local machine. Okay, now we know this is how the anchor tags are developed. Correct. This is how the anchor tags are developed. Now, why we are doing this? If we want to make this form text and hyperlink on the web page, then we write this code. The moment you click form, now whatever example, if I give here for www.gmail.com, the moment I click on this, it will this hyperlink reference. It will refer to this page and this page will launch. So whatever is given here, that will launch. Okay. All right. This a user can see. This is not seen by user unless and until we understand how to inspect and how to open the HTML. But this can be used see on the user web page. Correct. Now let's say there is a situation where there are two links on the web page. Okay. Now let's say this is a form A and form B. Okay. You understanding the difference now?
Yes, Vinod.
Okay, so whenever we have something like this on the web page, correct? Whenever we have something on, who is joining now? Ramakrishna. Okay, so whenever we have options like this, and what we do is we going to use partial link text to identify the element, and we pass the form value. See, most of the time there's a very minute difference. You know, this case also may work or may not work. But you know what happens in real time? Example, if you have a lengthy text, in between there is a hyperlink, and there's 100 lines of lines, right? Inside the multiple lines of text on the web page, there is a link which needs to be clicked. That time you can use partial link text. But what actually the best practices document says, whenever you have two links on the web page, form A and form B, correct? You can write partial link text. Okay, you can write partial link text, dot click, but you can just pass the value of form like this. If it is like this, if I write and like this. But tell me which element it will go and click in this case. Give me 1 minute. I don't know. SBI Bank. Give me 1 minute. You just think through. I'm just taking this call. Hello. Okay, sorry. Necessary calls in between. Yeah. Okay, so what are we discussing? Okay, partial link text. Like, tell me how which element it will go and click. Guys, are you listening to me? I don't know. Are you able to understand?
Yes, but
Yeah.
Yes.
Comment on it.
No, I'm saying if there are two links on the web page. Okay.
okay.
There are two links on the web page, and like here, form A and form B. I want to click on form B. How should I do it? Which locator I can use?
B.
Second one, form B.
Can you write that line of code, and everyone, can you write the line of code and put it in charting? Write it in charting. I'm looking at it. Okay, so uh, that's fine. You can somebody writing it. Okay.
No, Vinod.
I'll give you another situation. Okay, I'll give you maybe you'll understand better this. You know, there is a loan application. Okay, a loan app. Okay, now loan app. The moment you apply, right? The moment you apply first time, there is a form name, right? DOB XYZ, and you apply it. After apply, right? You will submit. The moment you submit, what happens? There is an email generation happens. In that email, what happened with your okay with your let's say I applied for loan with my name. With my name, there is a loan application number is added. Vinod 123. Okay, and after that, what happened? Once the loan got approved, it has changed to 120. I'm just saying. And once the loan is dispersed, it means 130. Once the loan is, started doing it, the final number will be example 135. This is how the number sequence is happening. The intention is, There is a text which is static, not changing, but there is a numeric number which is actually changing day-to-day basis. But this name remains same. In that situations, if you wanted to click, now these are hyperlinks, right? These are the hyperlinks. How do we click on this particular this? How will you identify? Because if you pass this value, right, completely, example, if you pass this, now this is an ID example. You checked it in HTML code. In ID, it shows like this. If you pass this, the script will work for that particular time. Next day, it is changed to 135. The moment I checks for 130, Vinod 130, your script will fail because now today it has been updated with the 135. It means the text remains static, but some number is dynamically changing. In that case, what we do, instead of passing whole value, we'll pass partial the text here. Then it will pick up irrespective of any change. It will check the partial text as we are using partial link text. If there is any dynamic number which is changing, it will only check for this value and it will click on that particular link. We use partial link text. In this case, if there are, the links are changing day-to-day basis, but it remains same. Now today it is A, tomorrow it is B, day after tomorrow it is C, like this. The form remains same, but this A, B, C, D is keep on changing. Then we can pass the form value for that particular day. It will only click for that particular link. You try it out. You need to have a situation where it is changing the value day-to-day basis. Okay.
Yes, Vinod.
Right. Okay, by this, we have completed all the locators. And now we should be good to automate any web page. If one locator is not working, we have other locator. If not all are working, we have two important locators, CSS selector and XPath. Any doubts?
No, Vinod.
Others, please.
No, Vinod.
Okay. You seems to be very happy because now you know all videos are off.
Vinod,
Why are
yesterday
you offing? Why are you offing the video? Yesterday?
yesterday for me Gmail got error. Now I can try with XPath or CSS selector,
Everything. Now you have license to all locators.
right? Okay.
Okay. Right. You can change whatever you like. You should make your script work. Simple as that.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. So I think we had a good session of 1.5 hours and we have covered all major topics today. So please make sure your script should not fail irrespective of anything. It should not fail. That is your motto. That is your automation tester agenda. Okay, you have to make it work. All right. So assignments. Make a note. Okay, I'm sharing one link. Okay, I'm sharing one link. You guys open it in your system. You'll feel very happy by looking at this link for sure. Okay. Open this link I've shared in the chatting. Did you open?
Yes, we know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First 5 test cases should be completed. You click on the register user. You use any web application that you want. If you want to use that particular automation exercise website, that's up to you. I don't mind whatever website you want to use. Please make sure you're following these steps. If you're using this automation exercise, I think that's a better. You can implement all these steps, 18 steps. Okay, 18 steps should be implemented. Test case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please complete the assignments. So best if you can complete 4. Good if you complete 5. I always prefer if you complete 5 scripts. Happy that you have good exercises. Everyone still not yet started the automation. Laptop not ready, or who is that not yet started still? I think Ramya Krishna, you have to start, right?
Yeah, I have to start.
And Ravali,
Yes, sir. I didn't start it.
so these people have actually others. They have done some puja and done some auspicious day. I think they have started. What was the day that you started, guys? Suggest them so that they can also start. Where is this guy? I don't know. This is
Just
me.
I installed all the installation softwares. I will start from
Okay.
today. I got it up.
Okay. Great.
Okay, and
Today is
Eclipse.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So good. Expecting that you'll be completing all the assignments tomorrow.
No, I think it's not possible, but I will. I need to set up the Maven jar. I need to just only install Eclipse and JDK and Selenium.
Mhm.
I have downloaded. I need to add the jar files. So I think I need to look at the video and
Yeah.
a few
See, I
steps are
think
followed.
you can take anyone of help. Uh,
Yeah, sure.
so we have team members who have already done it. For them also, it will be experience. For you also, it
Yeah.
will be looking to understand. You can request anyone. Uh, you know, Nagatulsi, Rajalakshmi, Niharika. So we have everyone here. Saravali, what is your status?
Actually, I did not start it, sir.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm asking. When you will going to start? This year, next year, this month,
No,
next
no,
month? No,
no. By this weekend, I
you're not
will.
going to start at all. No, is that thing?
Actually, I went to marriage, so that's why I did not start it. Yesterday only. I'm maybe by this weekend I will finish all this.
No. You have laptop with you?
Yeah, but that is very slow.
Very
That is
slow.
old laptop. I don't have new laptop.
Hmm.
I have to see is it working fast or is it support for this?